Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm Timmy B, host of the Fight Insight podcast, and my co-host, Brian BamBam
Barbarina. Boom.
What's up, buddy?
What is up? Excited to be
All right.
here.
Yeah, man, this is going to be an awesome podcast, guys. We talked to Denis the Menace Frimpong from Octagon MMA. You've seen him on our podcast before. This dude is absolutely incredible. BamBam, we also are going to talk about the events that happened at Fight League Atlantic 18, the chat that you were involved in. We talk about Bryce Mitchell, the weird stuff that's going on there. We talk about Conor McGregor and his battle with Mr. Hughes. And we also talk about some GFL stuff as well. So, look, we got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned. This is an incredible episode. BamBam.
Timmy B, hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight Insight Podcast.
That was pretty awesome.
Damn.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how loud that came across, but that is our new intro performed by Nara, the voice of 1FC, man. Every Friday night fights, you hear Nara on the mic. That's her doing that. So thank you so much to Nara. Look,
So awesome.
BamBam, I'm glad you're back. We're recording fine. The computer system seems good. And we have a crazy guest that I have to talk about so much. I met this dude over a year ago, I think it was the last time I talked to him, or somewhere around there. A great guy. Look, Octagon MMA. We all know that overseas. Octagon MMA, you see great fights over there. They had a reality show, and this guy was the guy causing all the ruckus. He was the crazy dude, right? He's the guy that you're like, okay, I've got my eye on this guy. This guy's going to be the next big thing. Get him on the podcast. Then Octagon doesn't even sign a fight. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Turns around, he gets released from them. He asks for his release, whatever. I don't know the whole story. All I know is that he's back. He's back with Octagon now. March 8th, he fights. I can't wait to see that. But then in the meantime, he also goes viral for fighting Paddy Pimblet in some underground gym that goes crazy as well. He's talked about it a lot on other podcasts, which I'm very mad at him about. But let's bring him in now. We'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff. This is Denis the Menace Frimpong.
Nice. How are you guys?
How's it going?
It is Ireland's favorite son, Denis the Menace. What's up?
Not much. Obviously, he's mentioned the Paddy Pimblet thing. I'm actually sick. I'm sick of getting asked about Paddy Pimblet, mate.
Dude, well, then you know what? Screw that. We won't talk about it. But you know what? Can I just? I won't ask you about it, okay? Because yes, look, Denis Frimpong. Hold on, let me put it up here, Denis. And I'm gonna. You know what? I'm such a nice guy. I'm gonna support other podcasts. Go follow Denis Frimpong at Menace MMA 2.0. And on your profile, yeah, you link to a bunch of places where you've already talked about it, right?
Yeah.
But can I just say one thing? And I know because you were responding on some of my comments on some of the posts. All I'm saying, and I haven't seen you talk about this, it went over 5 minutes. I'm just saying, I don't know where. This is not UFC.
We did agree that it was a no time limit thing, so no rounds.
Okay.
But obviously, you know, rounds probably would have suited me a bit better as the striker. You know what I mean? Because he took me down towards the end of the round, and then like we probably would have been stood up and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Like, you know, his grappling's good.
I don't look. We're not here to compliment this dude. Okay. All I'm saying is 5 minutes is 5 minutes in Timmy B's book. And and Denis, you've taught me this swear word, like I said before the podcast, to all these fucking wagons online that are talking trash. My man survived that round. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, screw all those idiots, Denis. Look, the thing is, you go viral for that, not talking about it or anything like that. But have you gained a lot of followers following that? Have you gained a lot of attention? What's the deal?
Yeah, like I've gained a bit of traction from it. I'm hoping that obviously more so there'll be more eyes on my next fight.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like followers are followers, but like I want people to watch my fights and see what I can do in the cage. It's irrelevant what I can do on social media if I can't back it up. So that's what I'm hoping is the positive that I got out of this. Obviously as well, getting to move around with a top 15 UFC guy in my weight division is a good experience as well. You know, I thought I held my own on the feet. His grappling's really good. He just shot a takedown.
Whatever,
Didn't expect him to shoot a takedown in a straightener, but it is what it is. But like, obviously
Dude,
gained a few followers. Still haven't built my profile back to what it was since my ban by Zuckerberg. So
yeah. That bastard
Yeah,
too.
so you got
take
banned,
him out
lost
next
everything,
too.
huh?
Yeah, take that dude out as well.
I might have to call him out next.
Yeah. There you go. Look, man. Okay, but let's go to the Octagon drama then, because I had you on the podcast. I'm like, this is the guy, man. Fight and Sight only brings on the best of best guests. And so we're like, this is the guy to watch, man. You want to know Ireland's next big star? It's this guy. And then they don't book you a fight. You can't. No one will sign the contract. What's the deal? Why did you leave? And then how did you get back?
So, no one wanted to fight me for ages. They put on like 3 or 4 events without any sign of a fight. They stopped replying. There was a bit of a breakdown in communication. I will say that like there was a third party involved in the negotiations that is no longer involved. So that could have been a part to play as well. But we obviously fell out a bit, went our separate ways, and there was a bit of like legal back and forth as to whether I was out of contract or in contract. All the shit that I basically hate dealing with in fighting. Sure. Like I just want to fight. I don't want to like have to deal with all legal shit. But basically we went back and forth for ages, and then there was no communication for a few months, and then basically we ended up reconnecting our communication, and they offered me to re-sign again. And I said, look, I'm going to put the ego aside and just re-sign with them, because I need a fight at the end of the day. And to be honest, they offered me a couple of good names. Guy I was supposed to be fighting. Yeah, that's Robin Frank there. I was meant to be fighting Ariane Topolai, and he bitched it. So they gave me Robin Frank instead. I think Robin Frank's a tougher test anyway. He's 5-0. So he has that that I can take off him then, Ariane Topolai was like 7-1. So someone's already beat him. It's like no one wants sloppy seconds. So yeah.
You're talking to the guy that beat Sage Northcutt and ruined his whole career.
I know. Yeah, I know. Took his whole momentum off him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? Right, Sage Northcutt was like a big thing when I first started like martial arts. He was like a massive name.
Yeah.
Coming up, he was like the next big thing or whatever. And then I remember Brian beat him, and he just sort of fell off from there. Like,
fizzled out. Yeah.
Yeah. Disappeared. Like, took his soul.
That's it. Well, that's what you've got to do. You've got to take the O from this dude, take his soul. Right? Robin Frank. I put the poster up there for a little bit. For those watching on audio, obviously go check it out. But this is Octagon, March 8th, 2025. It's in Germany, I believe. Is it?
Yeah.
Octagon 68? Yeah. So in Germany. Beautiful card featuring the man, Denis the Menace. Look, anything you want to say to Robin Frank right now? He's obviously watching this podcast.
Robin Frank. I don't really have anything to say to him. Like he's... I've tagged him in a couple stories. He's blocked me already. Like I can't tag him anymore. So he obviously doesn't want to have the fun. I don't know. I think Germans are known as not having a great sense of humor and not really being able to take the back and forth banter. So, what's he going to do though when we're at a press conference and he can't just like block? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to be there in front of you, mate. Like, so I don't know. I think it's already 1-0 to me as it stands. So.
You're up, that's for sure.
BamBam, you know what I like? I asked Denis if he wants to talk trash to his opponent, and instead he just slams all Germans.
The biggest trash talk.
Yeah, just all of you are terrible. Denis, here's the thing, man. I'm looking at your Tapology because I'm refreshing myself on the Menace. Why do you have a win in 2024 that Tapology says is flagged for issues with legitimacy?
Because I battered the kid, and he was 0-0, and they're saying that it was a mismatch because he was 0-0, and I was like 2-2 on paper.
No. Hold on. Weren't you? Okay, yeah, you're 2-2, and you fight this guy. How's that your problem if the commission sanctions it and the organization puts it up? I've never seen this on Tapology before.
Do you know what? Tapology like to act like they're a commission, but they're not a commission. So
yeah,
I don't know. The real site that people use, I believe Dana and Hunter use is Fight Matrix.
Okay, I have never heard of that page before.
I've heard of it before.
Yeah, so Fight Matrix is where like they use an algorithm to actually rank people based off their wins and stuff like that, rather than someone's opinion. Because Tapology is just run by like some guy, you know what I mean? Like just some dude that like will see your fight and be like, oh yeah, like I think you should be ranked here. You know what I mean? It's like it's an opinion. And I've talked a lot of shit about Tapology before as well, so they don't like me.
Screw Tapology.
Blocked by them too, huh?
Yeah, they're Wait a second. Okay, but you know what's so stupid about all you're telling? Yeah, because in Tapology will go, this is the number 15th guy in Idaho, and you're like, who's taking the time to rank everybody in Idaho at welterweight? Yeah, stupid. Who cares about that? But how can they say that win doesn't count? You got paid, right?
Listen, I got paid. To be fair, the guy I was supposed to fight pulled out like after I've showed up to weigh in on the Friday. I've weighed in. It was like a welterweight fight, so I didn't cut a lot of weight, but I still like had to go through the whole process of it. You know what I mean? It sucks.
Whatever.
And I've weighed in, and then we're sat there waiting for the guy to come weigh in. It's like jiu-jitsu guy, who was 4-2, so I was expecting like a decent fight. And then he's rang like the guys and been like, yeah, I've hurt myself. I'm not coming. I'm like, mate, it's like 24 hours before the fight. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a weigh-in day. Like, how have you hurt yourself on weigh-in day? Anyway, obviously not being the UFC, having a deep roster full of fighters that will be happy to jump at the opportunity, we've had to get some 0-0 guy. You know what I mean? And then
but dude,
I've ended up.
That's not your fault.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, that's not your fault. And if the commission sanctions it and that guy takes the fight, how's it your fault? I mean, and look, if that guy had won, would they have said it's illegitimate because it wasn't a fair fight?
Do you know what I mean?
That fight shouldn't have happened?
Yeah, it's weird. Crap. It's weird.
Are you talking about, weird. Hold on. Are you talking about this page, Fight Matrix? Like it looks like that?
Yeah.
I can barely see that.
This is the worst website I've ever seen in my life. I've never gone to this.
It's mad.
It's terrible.
It's a mad site. Like it is a mad site.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm not going to that again.
But yeah, like I don't know. I feel like they said that it's illegitimate on my record when it's a 2-2 versus an 0-0 guy. But then there's like guys like Kalen Loughran, who's in the UFC now, who was like, I think when he got signed, he was like 6-0, but like 3 of the guys he'd beaten were like 0-44. Like 2-70, and I'm like, how are those fights counted on someone's record? But I fought an 0-0 guy, beat him up, and that's not counted. So I don't understand. I don't understand where their logic or reason comes in. But
that's crazy, dude. I don't know how that can happen. Like when you get announced at Octagon on March 8th, are they gonna say you're 3-2?
I haven't a clue. I don't care, to be honest. I'm there to fight and get paid.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? Like if they want to say I'm 10-0, or if they want to say I'm 0-5, like whatever they want to say, I'm showing up. I'm gonna fight. The guy in front of me is gonna see and feel what my skill set is, regardless of what the number beside my name is. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely.
Like I always say, this records are for DJs. I'm not a DJ. I spin jaws. I don't spin records. Like so.
I like that.
That's awesome, dude. I gotta remember this is at 13:57 when you said that because I gotta make a quote of that shit. I gotta remember. Dennis.
So wait. Sorry to interrupt, but
you're the co-host.
During this whole thing with Octagon and all the headaches you were going through and stuff, and then rejoining with them, getting ready, got this fight scheduled now. In that time, there was no fights, right? It's just been training, grinding.
There was that fight in December that they took off my record. That's the only fight.
Oh, BamBam. That's another organization. That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after so after this whole drama, then he takes that fight with that organization, beats up that guy. That's sorry.
Got it.
Obviously, I was signed to fight for the PFL in September, and then that fell through because Octagon contacted the PFL and said I'm still in contract. I disputed that I wasn't in contract. We had a whole back and forth thing, but PFL didn't want to be involved in a legal battle, so yeah, it's just been a bit of a nightmare of a year, to be honest. But I'm just glad that it's all sorted and dusted now, and that I actually have a fight. I'm going to fight in Germany, and I'm going to knock this 5-0 guy out, and that's going to be the end of that. And then have a good run this year.
Oh yeah,
dude, that's amazing. Now, can I ask your contract with Octagon? What does that like? Because I've been realizing now, BamBam and I have been studying this. Different organizations have different contracts. UFC was always, well, BamBam doesn't even know he's a UFC fighter, but how would he know? It's normally like X number of
I'm
fights.
like him. It doesn't really. I'm just going there to fight. It doesn't really matter the extra stuff. I don't care about all the nonsense. Just show up.
Yeah.
Have me someone to fight.
It's my management's job. It's my management's job to deal with all that stuff. Like, I just let
But when you get into problems like this, so that's when, you know, it's good to know. Is your contract with Octagon for a certain number of fights or a certain amount of time?
Both. So I think it's over 2 years or like, I don't know, 18 months or something. And it's over 4 fights. But
okay,
obviously I would prefer to have the fights done. Like 4 fights, I get that done in a year. You know what I mean? Like I'm usually pretty fresh after fights. I want to stay active. I assume that, like, you know, that it's a bit longer because if I get injured for 6 months and I can't fight for that amount of time, then I'm kept in for that. Do you know what I mean? But I reckon I'll be dusted with this contract in a year. And
nice.
Yeah.
Do you have do they have to offer you a certain number of fights in X period of time? Like that's the UFC thing. So. They have to offer 3 a year. So they do. So we're gonna see you fight then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will be fighting. Like I ensured of that this time.
Nice, my man. Has Octagon reached out to you? Okay, so you have the little bit of drama with them, you know, not necessarily your fault, but okay, now you've got the drama settled, you're signed. Has anybody reached out to you and said, dude, we're glad you're back, you're a freaking character. Dude, we're glad with what happened with the Paddy thing. We're glad that you're doing this. Like, has the promotion said, we're happy to have this guy back?
Yeah. Like, I mean, a lot of members of the staff, obviously, I know a lot of, like, the staff members that work for Octagon, like the media guys and, like, different members of staff. They've all reached out and said they're happy that we got it sorted. You know, like you said, I'm a bit of a character. Like, I bring a bit of, like, sort of fun energy to the hotel on fight week. You know, I'll have a laugh with everyone and that. But yeah, most of all, mate, I'm just looking to get paid. Like I don't really give a shit about all that other shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just looking to get paid.
Well, dude, I'm happy for you, man. Yeah, that's the thing. And here's the thing. Am I wrong to say that since I last talked with you, you have fallen in love with a woman?
She fell in love with me.
Oh, this lucky lady. But Dennis, and my understanding is you're having a baby.
I am. I have a baby due the end of May now. So,
dude, I'm so happy for you, man. Congrats.
Which is why it's even more important to get these fights in, you know.
Absolutely.
That's right, man. Well, look, and do we know if it's a girl Menace or a boy Menace?
Mini Menace is a boy, and that is the Project John Jones is on the way. With less cocaine and less hookers, maybe.
Okay, well, sure. I mean, that's always a good life plan. Yeah, you know. Yeah, you don't want to go BamBam's route. That's the wrong way. Sure. And when little Mini Menace grows up, MMA fighter, do you want that for the child or no?
Yeah.
I listen. Like for me, I want him to train. I want him to be well trained. Do I want him to fight as an MMA fighter? Maybe. Like if he wants to, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it depends where MMA is in, you know, 18, 20 years.
Yeah.
Like if it's still where it is now, probably not, mate. I'll be like, look, mate, just go be a lawyer. It's easier. You know what I mean? Go be a lawyer and become a fight manager and then manage 10 fighters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't be arsed with getting in the cage and dealing with all this shit. But who knows, like maybe in 20 years, like the sport will have moved on so much further that like it'll be a bit like more like basketball where like you don't have to be LeBron to be making good money. You know what I mean? Like where right now I feel like you have to be Conor or you have to be like Sean O'Malley to make good money. Like even if you're in the UFC, it's not like incredible life-changing money per se. unless you're a personality and you have some sponsors behind you and stuff like that. It's like for the amount of work you're putting in and the amount of damage you take to your body and the amount of like life events that you miss, etc., etc. Like it's the juice
dollars
isn't
don't
as
add
worth
up.
the squeeze.
Yeah.
Nah, you know what I mean? Like I'm only doing it because I fucking love it, and I'm in too deep now at this point. Like I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like I'm like fucking, I'm here now. You know what I mean? I can't fucking go get a job now. You know? So
yeah, I don't know that anybody is hiring a guy that has shot toilet water at someone. You know what I mean? It's documented.
Wait, what?
That's what he did on the on the reality show. He took toilet water and squirted it at someone. It's like I don't think an accounting firm is going, yeah, we want that guy.
Nah, he was licking it and all. That was the worst part. The fact he was like licking it and like, yeah, it's so refreshing, and he didn't know it was toilet water. That was yeah, it was fucking grim, mate. It was grim.
Terrible.
Was grim.
You brought up a few things. Conor and Hughes have been going back and forth, and because you're an Irishman, you're the next big Irishman. I don't care about this Hughes guy. He's not been on the Fight Insight podcast, so we don't care. Your take on this battle, you know, like, and for those that don't know, Conor was blasting Hughes a bit, and I think it's because Hughes was cordial to the Dagestani corner after the fight, right? Is that generally what that is?
I think it's Conor took it the wrong way, where obviously Hughes has been sort of asking him to be in his corner, Conor, I mean, and Hughes is like, you know, praised Conor for being like the inspiration for why the whole generation of Irish fighters came out to do MMA. And then after the fight, you know, he's just been in a 5-round war with Nurmagomedov, and he said, like, you know, I'm not like this other guy. I'm a respectful guy. You know, I'm my own man. But mate, like, after a 5-round war, mate, you're liable to say fucking anything, mate. I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? After a 3-round war, you're liable to say anything. You'll be like, mate, I fucking love you, man. I fucking love you. Like, do you know what I mean, bro? Like, I don't fucking love him. I just fucking tried to kill him. Do you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. There's a mad mix of like hormones and brain chemicals that are going on after a fight. So Conor obviously took some issue with that. Went a bit too far, I think, with it, where he said some things that were very politically insensitive, given the region of Ireland that Paul Hughes is from, and the history that's there, very recent history, very not like ancient history or anything. So yeah, it went a bit back and forth then. I've got to take Paul Hughes' side on the matter. I think Conor's absolutely lost the plot. I don't know what's happened in the last 2 weeks, but he is head gone, mate. Like,
dude, those BKFC parties get a little crazy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think those fucking lines of coke get a bit crazy, mate. And I think that's been going on.
I was trying to be nice and imply that happens in the back. I just didn't want to say it out loud.
No, I think it's been going on a while. I just think like it's finally caught up with him, you know, like, 'cause I don't know. Like, I know people that are a bit party crazy, and you know, for a while you're able to maintain that party lifestyle, but it catches up to you eventually. You know what I mean? Eventually, there's a point where it switches, and then you're gone, and that's it. You know, I think he's hit that point now.
Well, that's the thing, and I think being around the BKFC too is possibly even worse, because that whole environment is insane. But what I think is worse is that he's then there in the limelight, huge, and it's like, and he's around those fighters. And imagine you're there watching Jeremy Stevens, the guy that, like, there's a big story there, and he's winning the main event, and he's crazy and in all the glory. And it's like, well, now I want in on this, and he can't. Like, you idiots online that think he's gonna fight. Dana White is not letting Conor McGregor fight in BKFC. It will never ever happen. Never.
I mean, didn't he just box him from boxing?
That's different though, because they co-promoted.
Yeah, but still, like, they're gonna take a piece if he wants to get into anything else outside of the UFC. 100%, they're gonna take a piece. The fact is that if they want to let it happen or not.
No, but okay, but hold on. BKFC is a legitimate contender to UFC.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, that is a legitimate promotion. you're not gonna bring viewers there, man. I don't. Even if they took a piece, it's like, why would you want to give BKFC that shine? BKFC's already like kicking ass.
Yeah.
I don't think they can afford that, man. Like you wouldn't want to do it. The boxing is different because it wasn't a promotion. It's just like, oh, it's a fight. Who cares? Whatever. But
Right,
BKFC is BKFC.
What I want to know is, Menace, do you think Conor will return to MMA? Do you think he will fight again?
I can't see him fighting again, to be honest. I can't see. And if he does, it'll be like he'll try and come back and fucking, I don't know, he'll try and fight like
Logan
Wonder
Paul.
Boy, or like it'll be like
Boy.
Yeah, like it'll be Wonder Boy at 170
Paul.
when Wonder Boy's about 48 or something. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking hell, man. Like I don't think he'll fight like a legit fight. It'll be like a gimmicky kind of.
Yeah, sure. That's what I'm saying.
Nate Diaz 3, like, do you know what I mean? Like they're both, damn near 40, and yeah, I can't see him fighting like a legit fighter again.
How old are you?
Not to say that Nate Diaz.
You're insulting me here.
I'm 30. I'm 30. I don't mean like Nate Diaz is a legit fighter. I just mean like
coming to Octagon.
Like,
yeah, a little bit.
Do you know what I mean? I just think I don't see him like going and fighting like a Charles Oliveira or a Poirier
like a top
again.
contender.
Or
Right.
Nah.
Well, look, you got to win, man. You got to win. Like whatever he does next, he has to win. You can't continue to lose. Like that's impossible. So the fight has to be a winnable fight, is what he has to do. I don't want to keep you too long, my friend, and I have a blast with you, man. I do want to ask this though. You're in the MMA scene over there. You're in. Although you're an Irishman, you're in England, correct? You live and train in England. GFL. You mentioned it before. They drafted their people. Okay.
Yeah.
Team London is very light on Irish people. Like there's 0 Irishmen. They've got some English. They have some Swedish. They have a lot of.
Hey, Norman Park's Irish, mate.
Oh, where is he? Is he?
I know it has a Northern Irish flag, but he's from Ireland. Northern Ireland doesn't exist.
Who am I looking at? Sorry.
Second row, fourth one down.
Oh, Norman Park. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, I see. So, okay.
Stormin' Norman.
Is GFL gonna happen, Dennis?
Mate, listen, I've had conversations with people that are closely involved with GFL, and they're even like, I don't fucking know what's going on half the time. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, I'm assuming with some of the names that they've signed, like there's got to be some big cheddar being thrown around. Do you know what I mean? Like they're gonna have to be throwing around some serious money for like
Gegard
Mousasi and like I'm like they're throwing money around. Is that sustainable unless they're selling out 50,000 seat arenas? Probably not. Are they selling?
You think they're gonna sell out 50,000 arena?
No, absolutely not, mate. Absolutely not. They'd be lucky if they sell out a 5,000 arena. Do you know what I mean? Like
basketball court.
Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
Gym.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe they'll unless they just have like some benefactor that has absolute money to burn and it's just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna throw money at this thing in this hole until it fills up. And fair enough, like, but
well,
I've got a teammate of mine, Kelly Stadden, that's fighting on it. So I hope for her sake that it does work out and she gets paid. Do you know what I mean?
What team did she get drafted to? Do you know?
She got on the London team, yeah.
Oh, she's there?
Yeah.
Hold on.
She's second row, top second row.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. That's good. So here's the thing, man. When it was all happening, I thought for sure all those big names that we heard about, I thought they weren't going to get drafted. I thought they were just used to bring highlight. They would draft a bunch of non-Gegard Mousasi's, and then you have the money to do it, right? Yeah. Maybe the Gegard Mousasi's will be in the crowd. Maybe they'll pay them to come and do an appearance, but not. There's no way. There's no way you're paying all these fighters. And I feel really bad for the younger fighters, such as your friend Kelly, and then some of our friends that we had on the show, BamBam, that were there that wanted to get in or want to fight. And I don't know, man, those guys are going to cost way too much. And if you're watching this podcast and you've got money that you want to throw in a hole, hello, come throw money to the Fight Insight podcast. I would love to be able to. I would love to be able to pay Dennis for his appearance on the podcast. I'd love to have a better setup. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like,
your setup's pretty sick, mate. You've got Street Fighter in the background there.
Yeah.
I got Mortal Kombat over there. You're sitting in a sauna, Bam.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Good
Dennis the Menace. I got a couple questions. One question that a fan wrote in. This one was a cool one, man. This was from JR Star. Hold on one sec. This I wanted to know about this. It says, "Hello from a fellow Ghanaian. Ghanaian. Hello from a fellow Ghanaian. Awesome to see us in MMA. Do you think the movement for MMA on Africa was halted a bit because the Three Kings are less relevant? Have you heard of any other initiatives?"
That's a heavy question. Yeah, like obviously Israel Adesanya, fucking hell, mate. I fucking love Israel Adesanya, and that last weekend, it was so sad. It was so sad. Father Time kills us all. Yeah, Father Time kills everyone. Unless you're Randy Couture, but yeah, I think obviously Usman losing, Adesanya losing the belt, definitely halted it a little bit. Ngannou leaving the UFC and going to PFL halted the UFC a little bit. We've still got an African champion, Duplessis, whatever you want to call him. Like, you want to say he's white and stuff. He's still African. He still trains in Africa. He's an African citizen.
Born and bred.
So people can talk about the history all they want, like, but that's, fucking hell, like, you might as well say I'm not Irish then in that case, But
that exactly is the argument though, Dennis. Yeah. The people that say
dumb.
that would say that you're not. Yeah.
It's dumb. But yeah, like, I do think that it's halted it a little bit. I do hope that the PFL Africa happens. I hope that, that gets going. I do, from what I've heard, it's starting this year. Fingers crossed. If it does, hopefully that will get the movement going a little bit, because maybe then Dana will pull the wallet out and decide to actually go there.
Yeah.
I do think that there's some logistical issues with going to Africa in terms of like having to pay a lot of, you have to grease a lot of palms in order to get an event on there, basically, is from my knowledge of it anyway. Sure. Yeah, hopefully that gets sorted soon. I'd love to fight in Africa myself. So.
Yeah, dude, I hope for it, man. Like, look, all we want is we want the world to grow in MMA. We want more fighters around, and we want more organizations where fighters can earn a living. That's all we want. We want more opportunities. Yep. We got mini Menace on the way in May. That little killer 100%. needs a place in 18 years. He needs a spot. You know what I mean? And we want as 100%. Many opportunities as possible. Yeah. Dennis, before I let you go, man, I got one question. But before I give you that one, I want to know, is there anything that we didn't hit on? Anything that you wanted to talk about? Anything that you want to say to the viewers and listeners of the podcast?
I think we covered everything, mate, to be honest. Like, you're very thorough, Timmy.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Dude, you're really, man, like, I want to say, Bam Bam, a lot of fighters we get on this podcast. This is episode 209, man. So I'm in my 5th year now.
209, bitch. Yeah, Captain, motherfucker.
Shit. You know what? I'm canceling this podcast. I got to go get Nate Diaz on for this. I really screwed this up. Get out of here. Stop. No, man, I meet a lot of people, man. Like, I've had like well over 200 guests by now, because a lot of weeks we have 2 guests. Dude, you're one of the coolest, man. And a lot of people, I'll talk to them and then not really talk to them again. But you and I have chatted a lot, and you're a good friend, man. I really hope for your success, dude. It's very exciting for you to be back in Octagon, get this opportunity, go kick this guy's butt, take that O, take his soul. Sky's the limit for you, man.
Ruin his career.
Yeah.
Ruin his career, his life, really, right? Just make him doubt every life choice. But and then, are you gonna call someone out after this? Like, do you have a name?
Yeah, 100%. Like 100%. The bitch that pulled out that was meant to fight me in the first place.
Yeah.
Name again? What's that guy's name?
I'm not gonna say his name again.
Can't I find it on Crappy Tapology? Won't they say? Or it was never? Or it was never official.
It was never. I mean, the contract went out to me and to him. Yeah. I signed it. He didn't. So
okay. So what you're saying though is, when you win, people can cross-reference the guy that you called out with this podcast, and we'll know who the fucking wagon is.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Is it really bad that I say that? Because you never laugh when I say it. Is it bad that I say that word?
I think it's just the way you're saying it. It's not very Irish. Like it's like I don't know. Like it's very Americanized.
Wagon.
I'm Canadian, you bastard. Canadian.
Wagon. Canadian. North Americanized. North Americanized.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Can you say it then? Say it properly.
You fucking wagon.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. All right, man. Last question I'm going to ask is, I think I might have asked this to you because I think I was asking it by the time. But my mom used to ask me this all the time in my life growing up. On a scale of 1 to 10, Denis the Menace Frimpong, how happy are you?
How happy am I? Fucking hell, living the dream, man. I've got a kid on the way, got a wife that I've recently married. I can't really be any happier, you know. Dirty 30 now, you know. Can't hey, I'm coming into my prime. I can't really be any happier. Maybe if I could afford some Botox, I might be a little happier. But nah, mate. Like I'm 10 out of 10 happy right now. Got a fight underway, feeling fit, no injuries. We'll say 9.9 just because this toothache's really killing me right now.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, go take care of that toothache. Look, I would have been a 10 if you had said one of the reasons you were happy is because you were on the Fight Insight podcast. But
that goes without saying. Without saying.
All right. Good. Thank you.
Hey, it's great talking with you, man. And
nice one,
congratulations on the kid, the marriage, the fight. Like excited for the future, and hopefully you can string them together and keep it going, man.
Appreciate it, lads.
Dennis, man, thank you for spending the time. I kept you way too long, but I really, really appreciate it, dude. You're the best.
No,
all the best
thank you for having me on, lad. Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure, lad.
See you later, buddy. Bye-bye.
Nice one. Bye-bye.
That's the man, Denis Frimpong. What a cool dude, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I told you, man. I like this guy, and we could laugh.
Great personality. I can see like him really getting after some people in the fight. Like he said, the guy can't run from me at the face-off or whatever, you know, when I'm there chatting at him. I could really see that getting to the guy even more. Like, you're going to block him, you know, it's going to come to a point where
dude, if
he's going to be chatting you face to face, you know. It's definitely going to be getting to him, I think.
Dude, blocking someone is a real weak move, no?
I've never blocked
I mean, hold on. Sorry. If you want to block some disrespectful fan,
yeah.
But blocking another fighter?
Yeah, I've heard it quite a bit. Like, you know, people getting after him or like sending them messages. I mean, you don't even have to look at those messages. You don't even have to look at the tag. Who cares? You know, it's not a big deal at all.
Yeah, I don't know. That's strange. I don't know. I mean, I know Dana White,
You could also look at it too, like, wait, what?
Yeah, Dana White blocked me. 1FC blocked me.
Really?
Angela Hill blocked me. Oh yeah. I got a lot of stories. Yeah.
Reasons?
Yeah. What's that?
Just for like saying.
Well, the reason is weak. Yeah, the reasoning is weak. I mean, what are you gonna do? I know what I say. I don't go crazy hard in the paint or anything.
Yeah.
That said, the reason why Dana blocked me is because I had some respectful, you know what I mean? But I had some comments when he got into his issues, right?
Oh.
Which leads me into, okay, hold on. Before I make this perfect segue, I will ruin it by saying we need to talk about our friends of the podcast. So,
all right,
friends of the podcast update. Look, FLA 18 happened. The reason why I'm continually drinking tea during this podcast is because my voice is shot to hell. Okay.
Hey. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine because when you were talking, I'm assuming at a normal, well, for those that are not watching, there was a blackout. They lost the pay-per-view stream. They streamed it on Instagram. I was in the chat talking with people and watching the fights. Timmy B was trying to give us the rundown of what's going on and everything, some commentary. But, I mean, the arena was so loud, so you couldn't really hear Timmy B. So, like, I'm telling him, like, you got to speak louder. He's, like, screaming the whole time, and it sounds like he's talking normal.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, and thank you so much, man. Look, the reason why when you said talk louder was because I was messing up. So what happened, like you said, the arena blacks out in the middle of a fight, but the emergency lights around the Coliseum, we're in the Moncton Coliseum, the emergency lights come on and it's bright enough. Like, it's not pitch black, you know what I mean? But
Was
it's
there
like
any pause like for the fighters? Like
yeah.
they
So
pause
what?
at all?
Yeah. So what? Well, it's crazy. So what happens is we're in the third fight of the night. I think it is Ty
Yeah.
Borden versus Joe Revell. And dude, let me just say, Fight League Atlantic guys, you got to go friggin' support every single fight. Absolute insanity, like absolute insanity. The quality of the fights, amateur to pro, there's never any gear on these people. So it's like you're watching all pro fights, and they fight like goddamn pros. Okay. So we're in the middle of I think it's the third fight. The lights go out. It goes out, but then the emergency lights give it like an eerie, like you can still see, but it's not like super lit up, like production bright, right?
Yeah. It's
The
like my
fight
sauna
keeps,
here.
yeah, like your terrible setup. It keeps going. What we should do is every week you add one like poster or something, you know what I mean, to your background.
Yeah. A little drawing.
The fight kind of keeps going. Then for like maybe 10, 15 seconds, because I think probably you're thinking like, oh, is it the light just glitching? But then after maybe 20 seconds, the ref calls a pause to it. A little bit of discussion must occur. I mean, I'm sitting at the commentary not knowing what's happening because my mic is gone, my screen, my monitor is gone. I'm cage side, but everything's out. I don't know what's happening. It's a ruckus going on. The fans are like kind of getting excited more than scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the fights continue. And then the announcer guy has to go in and he has to scream to the whole arena with like, I don't know
For
how many.
sure,
Like
that dude's like one of the
people,
MVPs. Like he was screaming so loud to make sure that even the people in the crowd could hear him.
That was his first event. I do want to shout him out. His name is
gosh.
That was his first event for FLA.
Oh man,
he's a seasoned thing. He's the heavyweight voice. His name is Adam Gould. He has to go in there, shush the crowd with like hand motions, so that he can then announce. And like, I mean, I think maybe the first thing he says is, "The fights will continue," and the
crowd erupts.
Like, oh! We're like, because now it feels like we're like in an underground fight league. Like it's so crazy because the lights give it like a very cool look almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we start going, but we never know if the power is going to come back on. Next thing I know, there's one of the cameramen who, as you know, they stand up like on a stool so that they're over the cage.
Yeah.
I see him recording with a phone. And I'm like, what's that guy doing? I realize that he's streaming. So then Derek, the cat Clark, who you met, and then the other co-owner, John Foster, they figure out, okay, you're going to go and commentate on that phone that we're streaming. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So by the time I figured that out, it took a little while. I apologize. But I mean, like this, dude, you never planned for this. This is, I mean, this is not
You're learning on the fly. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get it. And eventually what ends up happening is I am standing, the cameraman has to go because commission wise, I don't think I can be sitting on the apron. Like you can't just have random people, right?
Yeah.
It's all very, very professional. And like, this is what I love about being a part of the organization is like learning all these things. So the cameraman leaves. I'm holding a cell phone in my left hand like this, right? I've got the headphone thing that I'm speaking into in my right hand. And because you are telling me, my wife was in the chat telling me, she's texting me on my other phone. I'm like, I don't have three hands, man. Like I get, so then I have to hold it like this. I'm screaming into this thing while filming. My left eye watches the phone. My right eye watches the real action. So I've gone cross-eyed, I'm pretty sure. I've got my notes under this arm. I've got my sponsor reads there. And then we stream the rest of the fights, man. And let me just tell you, everybody that works at FLA, God dang, these guys are the best because that show still went on. I don't know what was happening in the back because no lights there, right? But yet every fight came out. They didn't have walkout music for a while. Eventually we got power to do that. But, no walkout music. The fighters are still coming out. There's still the cameramen who were like, non-plugged in cameras were still doing their thing to try to like capture video for whatever. The fights just go crazy. The fans are erupting. As you saw on the chat online on streaming, it was like booming. People were super having a good time. I got so many messages after the event from the fighters, from fans, from people I didn't know. You know how many things I got in my like DM requests? Normally it's like prostitutes and like MMA companies. This was like real people, man. And they're like, that was amazing. Timmy, that fight, those fights were crazy. That was so cool how we got to still watch it and blah, blah. Because, like if you lost the pay-per-view, you can watch it. Insane. My voice though, dead. Because I am literally like, that's Joe. And then I was getting so excited too because you couldn't help it. The crowd,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that amped the crowd up so much. And I think because in part they were so appreciative of what was happening. I guarantee you other organizations would have said, that's it, we're canceling everything. We
For sure.
can't do it, blah, blah, throw your hands up. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, they kept going, and the fans, like I was walking around a little bit to talk to the fans that were cage side and stuff, and like I know some of them, and they were like, "This is crazy, you guys are the best," and those were the messages I was receiving. Everybody was so appreciative. The fighters, they still got to fight, they got to perform. Friends of the podcast update. Unfortunately, David Fuentes didn't get the win. But he performed very well. He's a great dude, man. And you know what? He didn't know that I'm 6'2", 6'3". So when I met him,
he thought he was gonna tower over you.
Yeah. So when he met me, he goes, "You're a Titan too." I'm like, "Yeah, baby." So
Awesome.
Rory Gillis, who's been on the podcast, he won. Mean Devin Turner put on a very great performance. He won his fight. Hunter Savage, formerly on the podcast, he won his fight. Cam Nelson, formerly on the podcast, he won his fight. So it was, but every fight, Bam Bam, absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Hunter Savage's fight was crazy. I will say there's a guy that I want on the podcast who is, he will be in the UFC. Of all these guys, like, look, Cam Nelson, he's going to be in the UFC. A bunch of these guys, they're all going to make it. But there's this guy, Christopher O'Toole, Bam Bam. I'm telling you, this guy is a monster.
Well, I saw people going wild in the chat for him on his fight.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That dude is built different. Very and the nicest of gentlemen, like nice dude, but he is an animal. Like, mark your calendars, mark your books, like that dude, Christopher O'Toole. Just wait till you see that name, But what I will say is, in April, Fight League Atlantic is going back to Moncton Coliseum again. I can't wait, dude, and I hope everybody freaking shows up, because that was a great crowd and a great event, and it can only get better, man. Every event get better and better.
Absolutely. And I think, in the chat, some people were kind of, upset at first about like the pay-per-view going down and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, this is not something that's planned. It was something that happened out of the blue.
Yeah.
The fact that the team and everybody jumped on and kept the fights going and everything, and even put up an Instagram live, for you, so you could see them in person or live or whatever, instead of
Derek,
later
you
on.
mean?
Yeah.
He was doing it.
Yeah, Derek. Yeah, instead of so you can see them live instead of have to watch them later on YouTube or whatever, where they upload them or however. But so that's doing everything they can to make sure the fights are seen and put out there. I mean, it's a lot of hard work behind it. Just ask those people to be patient. The promotion's doing everything they can. So just it was just an awesome show. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking with the fans and everybody watching as well too. That was fun talking with them. So great time.
Yeah, and I will say, man, like that really, that fan engagement was so cool.
Yeah, a lot of people liked that. They kept saying like, "Oh, this chat is awesome." Like, fights. Yeah.
And here's the thing, man. Sometimes things happen and you learn from it.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man. Like that might be something that maybe like should be considered in the future. Is to not, obviously you can't show all the fights always for free, but to have some sort of like chat function, because it's fun, man. It's like having your buddy. Like, I can't always convince my wife to watch fights with me. So if I had a chat where I could chat with people, it's pretty cool,
Yeah.
But anyways, that was incredible. Look, so all those fighters that won their fights, Taylor Starling, did we already talk about this? Unfortunately, Taylor Starling did not win her fight, but you and I were chatting during that fight together, and man, she's a freaking warrior. That girl,
dog, for sure.
She's incredible. And who do we have coming up? I don't know. Look, we got tons of friends of the podcast that are all over the place. So good luck to all of you. But I did want to mention about that because that was insane. And to Derek the Cat Clark, right, who's the owner that we've had on the podcast. So people, fans of this podcast know him. Dude, that dude killed it, man. To be able to put that event together and to run that like that. Him, John, everybody at Fight League Atlantic, just class act, man. Like, it's impossible. That's not... Many men would have fallen to that situation. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. All right. Speaking about the men that should fall, we have to talk about it just quickly, Bam Bam. On the screen, I have a picture of Bryce Mitchell, and I have him next to Sean Strickland because we used to think Sean Strickland was bad. You know what I mean? Like Sean Strickland used to be the guy that we're like, this guy's a little bit whatever. Bryce Mitchell comes out. And obviously, you guys know what he said, right? And if you
Yeah.
don't, go look it up because I'm not saying shit.
Don't go look it up. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
bad. Just know it's bad. But if you want interested in knowing, go look it up.
You know, if you're watching this podcast, that means you're so deep into MMA that you have to know that. Look, Bam Bam, my question to you: should he get canceled for this? And okay, let's put it this way: by canceled, I mean, should he be released from the MMA, from the UFC for this?
I mean, it's terrible what he said, and I mean, Dana White, it's absolutely, I mean, disgraceful, really. But like Dana White said, freedom of speech. You know, internet, social media brings freedom of speech. You know, some try to silence freedom of speech and make it not able to or whatever. But it is a thing, you know. But I think as like a high level promotion and everything too. I mean, there's been circumstances where other fighters have said things and been punished. You know, not outright said like we punished them for it or whatever, but then, you know, they do get punished, you know. You just so do I think they'll take action? Possibly. And from I watched the interview that Dana said that when they spoke with him, and honestly it sounded like what I got from it is like Bryce Mitchell basically tried to argue his side. You know, like he was like, you know, yeah, we talked to Bryce, and just absolutely sickening or whatever he said, you know?
Right.
And it's like, to me, that says like, okay, they talked to him and he tried to, you know, voice his reasons and all that. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's going to go well for him. And I saw his apology and I just didn't feel like it was very heartfelt or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because he did then release a public apology.
I thought,
really?
Yeah, I maybe have to reread it. I don't know. I was kind of on the fly.
That's fine.
But
it's fine. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Different people are going to take things different ways. I mean, some people.
Yeah, exactly.
I
don't know. Maybe he was just in the moment and he thought he was thinking. I mean, he was thinking something else and saying, you know, I don't know.
I feel like when you approach a subject like that, your brain doesn't need to think too hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you know what you're talking about. Like,
fair enough. You know who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like we're talking about some random.
It wasn't like he did some good things and then bad things. It was just like, you know, bad things.
But here's the thing: if you do not release him, you have to honor the contract as a UFC, and you have to offer him 3 fights a year. So you can't bench him.
Depending on how many fights he has left on his contract, I guess. But...
No, but okay, but fine. But what I'm saying is, unless
they can bench him.
How? Your contract says you have to be offered 3 fights a year.
I don't know. No fights are. We have no one to match you up with at the moment.
Isn't that a breach of contract?
No. Just wait it out, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, we got to re-up your contract. Your contract's out of date. Re-up, sit you again." I don't know. I don't know what.
So percentage-wise, what is the percentage you think that we never see Bryce Mitchell in the UFC Octagon again?
I don't know. I think you'll see him in there again.
Oh, so you're saying 100% you see him in there again?
Probably.
Okay, but why are you saying that if everything else sounded like no?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, hold on. Are you saying it because now this guy has created a character and a story for himself that now everybody's going to want to see this guy get murdered? Similar to who's the guy that everybody hated?
Well, absolutely. I think
Tony Kelly. What was that? Oh my God,
Tony Kelly. I don't know, but I think they're definitely going to probably give him a matchup that's not very well suited for him.
Well, I saw a post on Instagram showing that he's going to be matched up against John Jones. Is that we're going to do an open weight fight? And here, the guy that oh my
Lucky
God,
draw. Bryce Mitchell gets John Jones. Oh.
The guy that Adrian Yanez beat, because the guy had like talked trash on like Mexican Brazilians, was it, or something like that? Who did he beat? Hold on. Tony Kelly. Yeah, that's it. Tony Kelly. Tony Kelly got in trouble for saying a lot of controversial stuff. And then Adrian Yanez put his lights out. And then
Well, I saw this thing that someone posted, and they had like listed like 4 people who have said things in the past and have been punished for it. Like, not straight out saying like we're punishing him for it, but like they were punished for it
by bad matchups. Is that what you mean?
No, I think like they were like released or a contract.
Oh, sure,
and stuff like that.
So here's the thing. So here's the thing that's interesting though. That guy Tony Kelly that I'm thinking of, he at the time he was boyfriend of Andrea KGB Lee. He won 2 fights. Lost one in the UFC, then won 2 fights. Yeah. Then he talked a bunch of trash. I think I forget, maybe about Brazilians or something. Then they set him up against Adrian Yanez, who like TKOs him in the first round badly. And then that was his last fight ever, June 18, 2022. So, that's the thing, man. Bryce Mitchell, you say bad things like this. Let's say you run out your contract, or even if you're released, there's a potential then that no one will take you after this.
Man, it's just crazy though. Like, unbelievable to say something like that.
Yeah.
Internet is just.
I mean, speaking of when I got banned though, or speaking of when I got blocked by Dana White though. I don't want to say anything because you're a UFC fighter, so don't. This podcast does not reflect the views and opinions of BamBam when I say something. But like, I got blocked by Dana because I said that I don't think you should slap your wife in public.
Yeah.
UFC signs Greg Hardy. So a bit of a double standard. I don't know what's worse to be. I mean, really, honestly, I don't know what's worse. I was debating that with my friend today. Because you're talking, I mean, I don't know everything that Bryce Mitchell said. I just saw like the key thing, the fishing is what I saw. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the statement about fishing, I don't know if that's worse than like, whatever. It's all horrible. Don't fricking do any of it.
Yeah.
But the standard has been set on the other stuff. So it's like, I don't know, like, are they just going to like continue? But look, if we look at Tony Kelly, the potential is that Bryce Mitchell fights out his contract at best. And then you never see him again, which is, but what are you going to do? He's got a wife and kid. Like, I mean, like, dude, you got to be thinking about this crap. You can't be talking shit like this. You can't be doing stuff.
The thing is, that doesn't just affect his fight career. It affects anything he's joined in with.
Sure. Sponsorships, partnerships. Yeah. Whatever. Right. Yeah. Of course. Friendships. Right. Gym. Your gym may be like, get the frick out of here.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy, dude. But we will see what happens to him. Aside from that, BamBam, we are right on time. You know what? I messed up. Here's something I got to show. Shoot, I should have done this at the time, which obviously I ruined. Here's some shots. Here's some photos from Fight League Atlantic. There's me and Devin Turner. That was the morning after I had breakfast with the man. There's myself, UFC veteran Chris Kalidas, friend of the podcast Sarah Wilson, who's an MMA fighter, but she was there doing some stuff in the crowd. That was her first time working at the event, and it went like that, so it's crazy. She's normally in the cage. Then on the left side, that's Cam Nelson. He is a friend of the podcast as well. He trains out at Niagara Top Team sometimes with Mike Malott, Jasmine Jasudavicius, and a friend of the podcast, Alana Cook. So that was us after the event. It was supposed to be just the 3 of us, and then Cam Nelson photobombed us. So that's cool, though, because he's a good man. And then on the left-hand side, that is the champ, Jeremy Miazga Zibek. He came in and defended his amateur title with a brutal head kick knockout. Very, very nice kid. Lives out in Toronto near me. Polish descent. Used to train with Misha Serkinov. And he's taking photos with the fans, man. There he is with a kid, awesome. A young man taking photos with the belts, and everybody there. Absolutely wonderful. Go buy my shirt if you want a shirt. Awesome. Go buy my shirt at millions.co. Go buy my shirt. You can be, maybe you're listening to the podcast or watching the podcast on millions.co right now. So that's easy. Just go click on content and go buy my shirt. It's very cheap, $16.
Very cool.
BamBam, I think that's it, man.
Nice shirt.
Buy a nice shirt. Fits well. It's nice. It's a lot better than the one I sent you, actually, because it's better quality now. But yeah. That's it, man. Look, that was a crazy episode. I love Dennis.
Yeah, good dude. It was fun.
Yeah.
Fun to talk
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, he's a good
Excited
guy.
to
Like,
see, back in the cage and back to work.
Yeah, and just the drama that he brings, man. Like last week, I know you weren't here, but we had that Jessica Borga who, like, made that scene at BKFC to get herself noticed. That's what you got to do, man. You got to put yourself out there. You got to freaking build that hype around you and let that happen. I told her to bring you to BKFC next time so you can start talking to trash to some people.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, stop. I want to fight.
Is that your trash talk?
You suck. Yeah. Yeah.
So bad.
Terrible trash talker. Terrible trash talker.
So bad. Who cares, man? You just mohawk your hair up, wear the overalls.
There it is. Mohawk and overalls, and just let me in there and throw some hands. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Next
what
week
I'm
on
all about.
Yeah, of course. Next week on the podcast, it's our Valentine's Day episode. It's going to be releasing on February 13th, one day before Valentine's. Every year, except for 1 year, we missed it. But every year on the podcast for Valentine's, we have Swayze Valentine. She is the UFC's only cut woman in history. She's going to be on the podcast. We normally ask her, BamBam, like, who's in love behind the scenes? Who's the most adorable couple? It's a very lovey episode,
Okay.
But Swayze Valentine, she's absolute best. She's a character. Did she ever wrap your hands? I think I asked you this before. Has she ever wrapped your hands? Or sorry,
so.
Has she ever been your cut woman?
Cut woman. Does she wrap the hands too?
I think so. No, maybe not. Maybe she's just cut woman. Because I remember in UFC it's different, right? You have a wrap person. Ever have her as a cut woman?
I can't recall.
Well, it's going to be very embarrassing when she tells you that she's done it 7 times, Batman.
Well, great. Now I need to go back and do some research.
Yeah. Anyway, she will be on the podcast next week.
I have seen her around.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I've seen her there, actively working stuff too.
Yeah, she will be on the podcast next week. Beyond that, we're gonna look for some cool guests, man. Look, Benson Henderson got signed. He's your boy. I got to get someone from GFL. We will do that. And
the issue though is, like, as much as I want GFL,
you're saying that nobody knows anything, right?
Yeah, that's the issue. And I want GFL to be successful, and I want to know more.
Okay, I did learn something very quickly. I will say this, and no one's watching this deep into the podcast, but I figured out about the revenue share from someone, and I think they explained it to me. They're saying that it's 1% revenue share per fighter. They think it's 1%. So whatever the event earns, and this person told me, he or she, said, no, they know.
Okay.
They don't know that it's for everybody if it's 1%.
Got it.
But they said they think so. But they have intimate knowledge. 1%, okay, of everything that event earns, concessions, T-shirts, pay-per-views, TV rights, whatever it is, okay, hot dogs, extra cheese, they're getting 1%. You add up all the revenue, right, all the profits, the profit, so not the cost, but profit. You take all the profits, you take 1% of that, and if it's bigger than your win bonus, it replaces your win bonus.
So you get your set money.
So you get your show money. So let's say you're 10 and just for easy numbers, let's say you're 10 and 10. You show, you get your 10. You win, you get 10. If the 1% is 20, you end up the 1% is 20,000. You would get 10 and 20.
Okay.
If it was 25,000, you don't just get 25, you get 10 and 25.
But what if it's 9? You don't get
if the 1% is less, you get your 10 and 10. It's once your profit share is more
so
than
you
your
don't get
win.
it on top of your other stuff.
No. Yes, you are correct. So it replaces your win bonus. Now, what that also means is the losers don't get profit share, which also kind of makes sense. Because then it's like, okay, only the winners improve on the profit share. But that's I thought that was very interesting, and I've never seen that explained before. So, anyways, whatever. like I said, I may or may not have a contract that I still have not read. So I should read that to see if it's in there.
Might not though.
I might not. So if I don't, then I couldn't read it. But I'm just saying.
But if you could,
That said, my voice is almost dead for sure now. And that is it, Bam Bam. Yo, this was a great podcast, though.
yeah, great episode.
Super good energy. That's what we need, Bam Bam. And that's what I think screaming at the top of my lungs, hanging over that cage,
Brings
dressed
out
in
of
my
you.
suit, right? I have to take my suit to the cleaners now because I was like rubbing up against the cage the whole time, sweating buckets. Yeah, I think that, I keep learning the more and more I do stuff. I got to just be high energy right from the get.
Boom.
No time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No time for like, oh, how are you?
No time to hold it back.
It's like, yo, what's up, Dennis? You fucker. Like
you gotta be like that as soon as like when you get on the mic after a fight. It's like I can't stop screaming. Yeah. Hey Brian, how's the fight go? Fight went great. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the energy.
Oh, Abdel won. Oh my God.
Yes.
Shoot. I gotta edit that back in later. Abdel won, of course. He won the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look good.
Shoot. I should have said that before. Did I? Oh God.
What are you saying it now? What's wrong?
Well, because it's not with the other ones now. Whatever.
But it's still there.
Yeah. Anyways, look, it was a crazy night. I can't remember everything. I'm still pumped up. When I saw Devin the next morning, he was like, I haven't even slept. He goes, I don't sleep for like a few days after a fight. I'm so energized. I'm like, yeah, I can understand it. It's crazy.
I mean, the one night for sure, but after that, boom.
Game over. Sleep time. Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, there you go. All right, buddy. That is it for the podcast. Guys, join us next week. Thank you, Bam Bam.
Bye.
I'm editing that out for sure.
Damn it.
All right.